Hello. Oh, you caught me doing a little bit of nose work, didn't you? Hello. Hello. It's me, Jake. Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to the Happy Half Hour after a little bit of absence on my part. Lady Jerry, we were off in New Zealand. It was a big trip for us, and we had a great time. I'm back. Lady Jerry is still there. She's still overseas in stars are enabled. I don't want stars to be enabled all the time, but there they are. So we had a great time over there overseas in New Zealand. Beautiful winter weather, lovely visiting with friends and sightseeing. We did some massive hiking. We had two giant days of hiking, one 15-miler, which I did in the middle of a kind of an illness that I was having, and the next day a 12-miler. Oh, Sister Sue, welcome aboard. Charlie, great to see you. Welcome aboard. It is me. I am back, and I am so happy also, Sue. It was a bit, I have to say, my friend Frank is always talking about controlling the narrative. I had a little trouble. My narrative got a little bit out of control. I found myself a wee bit depressed over there. Sorry, I don't have the usual microphoning that I've been doing today. But you can't have everything. Rich, welcome aboard. Good to see you. Good to be back for the Happy Half Hour. Mr. Predicto, did you miss me? Oh, let's find out. Is Mr. Predict, are you even there? Oh, battery time. Mr. Predicto. Oh, took him can't believe I'm back. Are you happy I'm back?
The signs say no.
The signs say no. Mr. Predicto, not happy I've returned. You can't win them all, Mr. Predicto. Boing. How about that? How do you like that? Jim Raines, good to see you there. I see you. I see you watching me. I see you seeing me. Andrew, I also see you. So yes, it was a really good trip. But as I say, it was difficult, a little difficulty controlling the narrative for me because it was all in-laws and friends of Belinda's from either years ago that I'd never met or that I've met but I haven't seen that many times. I've probably been to New Zealand 8 times, maybe 10 times. Mr. Predicto made in New Zealand. Possible. Aaron, yes, I am back. Yes, I am back. And you're back. So it was a lot. It was a lot of people that I know pretty well, but not as well as Belinda. And so there was it was pretty relentless. I did say to Belinda towards the end, it's like, I feel like I'm more separated from you, even though we spent the last 3 weeks together all the time, but it's been with her family and other people. So there's just been where there was so much going on and busy and having fun, but it was also pretty nonstop. And so it felt good to be back here. I went to jiu-jitsu today, so I'm back for that. While I was gone, I enrolled in the jiu-jitsu tournament, the World Masters jiu-jitsu tournament in Las Vegas. I'm going to be competing September 2nd. And so that's coming right up. So I'm excited, preparing for that. And Andrew, you're saying you and the family made it back? My daughter and I made it back, but my wife is still there for a couple more weeks. So she's enjoying a couple more weeks down there. And then she'll be back. Did I get any souvenirs? I didn't really load up on the souvenirs this trip. I did get a pin. I got a new lapel pin. I'll have to wear that on Tuesday. But didn't really get a lot of souvenirs. I've got a lot of shirts that already say New Zealand, so I didn't feel like I needed to load up on that. It was winter. We did stop at a place where they had wool sweaters, sheep. Hello, knock, knock, who's there? It's a sheep. That happens a lot in New Zealand. It's a sheep or it's a dairy cow. Those are the two things that can knock on your door. Apples and wine grapes cannot knock on your door, but that's another thing that you get while you're in New Zealand. So for the Happy Half Hour, welcome back. Today I've got a little vodka with grapefruit and rosé mixed in, and I do find this to be fairly tasty. And just to make myself a little bit of a beverage, I've had it in the freezer, so make myself a. It's generous but not ridiculous drink for Friday Happy Half Hour. Just to feel like I'm getting back in the swing of things. I see some of the regulars are not here today, but we've got some here, and I suppose word of mouth will catch on as always. And how was my ocean dip, or did I skip the winter waters? Andrew, cheers. Thank you for asking. I did do one ocean dip, and I shot some video that I was going to post, and then it got to be a couple days late, and I didn't do it. But I did go on an ocean dip with one of our friends' wives. We were having dinner with it's one of Belinda's friends from when she was very young. He's married and Belinda's married, and I went swimming with his wife. She's really into the Wim Hof breathing and these breathing exercises. We did a morning breathing yoga thing, which I can't remember the name of, but I have it in my phone. So we did some morning breath yoga. That was okay, but we both went for together to the ocean swim. I was going to just do a dip in their pool, and she said, "Let's go to the ocean." So we drove over to the ocean. It was just about 15 minutes away, and it was kind of furious, a major sideways rip. So I got in and got carried about a half mile down the beach by the time I'd been in 10 minutes. I was trying to dig my toes in, and I was squatting down to stay up to my neck, but squatting down. I was never out, only a couple times out where I couldn't actually touch the bottom. So I was trying to be very safe, but still get the cold. It was about, the ocean I think was around 53 degrees, which is cold, but not the coldest I've been in. And so it was very refreshing. And I have to say, as much as I had been struggling a little bit with some depression and just kind of being out of my element and away from my my larger support team, obviously my wife and daughter are part of my support team. When I came out of that water, I felt, as I always do, just so alive and happy to be alive. And I wanted to just scream, I'm alive. And I went over to her and she said, "What, it's a great day to be alive." I didn't say anything, and that's what she said to me. And so that was great. It was really a great swim with someone that I'm getting to know better, and that I found out that we had this in common, that we both enjoyed this. And so it was really just and then the most beautiful, it's winter there, so it had been in the high 40s outside when we went in. And then we just drove over the hill from the beach, and there was one of these little coffee trailers where they've got a full espresso machine and a little outdoor patio where you can have your coffee. People are riding their bikes over the mountain, the coastal hill range, and stopping to get a coffee. And we were stopping on our way back from the beach, and there were farm workers there, and it was just such a great morning. Thank you for asking about my cold water dip, because that was the only one day I got to do it. I wanted to also go down in Wellington, but I got this nasal sinus congestion thing, and I just wasn't feeling good enough to get into the water. So that was great. Keys, you're here. Pants off, dance off. Working on my trip to Austin. I don't know when that's going to happen, but I feel better about it happening. Meanwhile, I did take a booking. I'm going to be coming to Phoenix, and I'm going to be coming up to Richland, Washington later in the deep fall, if that's even a thing. Laura, hello. Greetings. Good to see you. You're in Pittsburgh, the airport. The airport in Pittsburgh, awesome. Very Molly-rific. Thank the maker for the coffee stand. Yes, it was really great. That coffee spot was so great. There's a lot of, New Zealand has an amazing coffee culture. They're obviously tea people from the way back, those English people, which they haven't completely, they have a separate government. Anyway, speaking of which, it's still a happy half hour. But New Zealand has an amazing coffee culture. You can pull into these little farm towns and get an espresso or a flat white. Have I seen any of the posts from Jen? Andrew, thank you for asking me that. No, Jen Roper Grant, I haven't seen any. Sounds like she needs to be in our prayers, everyone. Hope she finds her way back to good health. Oh my goodness. I'm sorry to hear that, Andrew. I'll check in with Jen after the show. Yeah, I'll check in with Jen. No, I haven't seen that, but Jen is just such a, I don't know, she presents herself as so cranky, but if you've ever read any of her writings, she's got a great sense of humor, and she's just a very kind, generous person. So yeah, let's thoughts and prayers for Jen, and please reach out to her if you're connected to her at all on here. Alan, happy Friday. Yes to you too. Julie, yes, Friday salutations. And you know what? It's been such so weird to be disconnected from this, my new vocation, avocation. I don't even know what's the difference between those two things. Who knows? But as we do, the Friday Happy Half Hour, it's time for an idea from the Hollywood Producers Directory. And how excited are we? Am I? So excited. Lady Jerry and I have been, we're 2 episodes away from the end of the Squid Game, which that's how far down the path of things that are on the internet we've gone, is that we're almost, cheers, that we've almost gone through Squid Game, which I didn't think was on Lady Jerry's itinerary ever. Did Jen say she had a kidney stone? I'm not sure, but someone may be answering that. So today's idea from the Hollywood Story Directory from 1991. These ideas are all not hot off the press, and in fact, this one is copyright with the WGA Writers Guild of America. 1987 copyright, called Palace Treasure. It's a feature comedy adventure. Could this be right for The Rock? Well, that's a question that I like to ask all the time, and about everything that I'm eating and all the things that I'm watching and script ideas. Could this be right? Would The Rock be great in this? And the answer is always yes. The Rock would be great in everything. Synopsis. For film student Tom Varvaris, starting right off with a film student, but this is a thing that happens a lot in Hollywood, is people write scripts about people who write scripts, or people write scripts about actors. Actors write scripts about actors. Anyway, for film student Tom Varvaris, the Palace Theater is a monument to the movies. I don't know if you've ever seen Cinema Paradiso, that movie. Excellent movie. Got to read some subtitles. Excellent movie. It's a monument to the movies. Slated soon for demolition, it becomes the focal point of a oh my God, of an attack of the coronavirus. No, I don't. I've tested myself. It's just a cough. Slated soon for demolition, it becomes the focal point of a race against time when he and 2 friends uncover information that a cache of classic films may be hidden on the premises. Films unseen for over 80 years. Now you got to add almost 35 years to that. Hurled into adventure, mirroring the movies he loves, Tom searches for the lost films. If he can locate them in time, he can prove the building's worth. If he can't, they'll be buried with all the dreams that the palace has served to symbolize. Now, I don't know what kind of construction procedures they use in Wilmette, Illinois, where Jerry Basilatos is from, who wrote this. But here in California, if you were tearing down an old theater, you'd have to search the whole basement and excavate and everything. So unless they're in some deep subterranean cave shelter, which I hope they are. I mean, if The Rock's involved, and if he's not going to a deep subterranean lair, then we've got to hire another writer and add that to the mix. Anyway, Palace Treasure sounds good. I'm in for the Palace Treasure. There's a lot of things we don't know yet about the story that could make it better. And as a true Hollywood producer, that's who this book is for, I would say I've got some great ideas for all the things that aren't mentioned yet in here. And writers, let me tell you one thing that they love. They love a producer with a lot of ideas. They don't. That's not one of the things they like. But then again, if that thing is still on the shelf from 1987, I think Tom is going to be really glad to get a call. If I may call him Tom. I can't even remember what his name is in true producer fashion. So there's your story from the Hollywood producer. Alan J. Newell's The Rock is one of the nicest people you've ever met. Super nice dude. I'm so happy to hear that, Alan, because I've never met Dwayne The Rock Johnson, but I would love to meet him, and it would be very hard for me to not be gushingly stupid. So there you go. So that's that. So we've had our producer's directory. We know that Mr. Predicto is not happy about us being here. I've told you that I was a little bit sad and blue while I was over there in New Zealand, but I'm feeling great now. I did have this real sinus thing while I was there that I'm recovered, but you may still be able to hear it in my voice. Let's check my temperature. 97.5, that's pretty normal for me. So my temperature is adjusted back down, feeling good, and I think it's time for a Louise L. Hay wisdom card. Is it Louise L. Hay? Yes, it is. It's Louise L. Hay. Mark Hershon wants to join me on video. Is that a thing that can happen? I would let you join, Mark, if I knew how to do that. Worked in catering at the St. Louis airport. That's how you met Dwayne Johnson. He came in for a WWF event, met at his plane. He shook hands, took pictures, signed autographs, and he thanked every last person present. Yep, classy. Keys, you're saying in the ring you think he's a butter dick? You can't judge a person by how they are in the ring. Mark, you have no idea what that means either. Good. I'm glad, because I didn't know how it happened. And I've seen it before where it says, hey, bring the other person on camera. And I've thought, well, that seems kind of bold of me to bring them on camera. But this made it sound like you wanted to come on camera. So anyway, confusing. So the Louise L. Hay Wisdom Card. This year, I do the mental work for positive change. It's not punctuated, so I added that to kind of, this year, I do the mental work for positive change, as if someone else is doing it other years. But it's always, this year I do the work for positive mental change. I haven't done the work in the past, but I'm going to do it this year. I think it's a little late for me to get in that game, but I'm going to do it. My motto this year, I go for the joy. Life is here for me to enjoy today. So, yeah, that's a good one. Life is here for me to enjoy. I'm going for the joy. I'm going for the joy, everybody. Heading out to happy hour later today with some friends who have a birthday. Welcome home, Jake. Glad you didn't get sunburned in New Zealand. Thanks, Eric. Yeah, I didn't get sunburned in New Zealand. It was winter time, so the sun was out. But oh, Pick. Hello. You're good. You just realized your phone was in the car. Oh boy. Andrew, you're saying The Rock is also the producer of most of his projects. I wonder how he gets along with the writers. Seems like he would have some great ideas to punch up the script. I bet The Rock does have great ideas, and I bet in his case, the writers are happy to have them. Put the emphasis on mental, so it's so it's that kind of work instead of emotional or physical work. I see, Avi. Thank you. Let's get back. Let me give that another read. This year, I do the mental work for positive change. Yeah, the mental work. I'm going to do the mental work, not the physical work, the mental work. I'm off physical work for a minute. Although I did go to jiu-jitsu. Nice to be back. Nice to be back on the mats, rolling around with my friends, preparing for the competition coming up September 2nd. Who knows how I'll do? I care. I was going to say who cares. I care. I care how I do. But I've never been a super competitive kind of minded guy. But in this case, I would like to win. Check the batteries in the Snark book. Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it, Andrew. I know you like the Snark book. Let's see if it's still on. The Handbook of Snark. I think it's fully functional. So let's have a quick look at the Book of Snark. A little bit of, how about a little, man, I haven't really marked up these ones. How about a little death and dying snark? I didn't, this is Mark Twain on death and dying, little snark. I didn't attend the funeral, but I sent a nice letter saying I approved of it. Huh? I'm glad you're dead. Always funny. Ha, 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 Mark Twain. Woody Allen. It's not that I'm afraid to die. It's just I don't want to be there when it happens. Ha, ha, ha. Woody Allen. Sorry, this is not really fair. Clarence Darrow. I've never killed a man, but I've read many obituaries with great pleasure. Again, I'm glad you're dead. Solid joke. Works every time. And the person who you're giving it to has talk about punching down. There's no more punching down than when you're having it on with a dead person. And I did say person, not just dead guy, because there's some dead ladies who got it coming. I think you know who I mean. Go back to work on Monday after 8 weeks off after foot surgery. Alan, wow, well, congratulations. Here's to you. Going back to work, 8 weeks off for foot surgery. Man, you've either got I think you've got a terrible doctor or an awesome employer if you're not recovered after 8 weeks. But I'm not a doctor. And there I go, having a go at you, person with a sore foot, punching down again. But I hope you feel better, and I hope you have a great return to work on Monday. So, and I'm sorry about your foot. Ugh. That foot surgery, it's got to be no fun, because your feet, man. If I had to choose between cutting off a hand or a foot, I'm pretty sure I would cut off my left hand. But am I? Boy, it's a tough one. I may have spoke too soon. Don't hold me to that. I'm going to have to think about it and talk with some other people. But, yeah, foot hurts. Andrew, random query. Love it. Have you ever done stand-up in Hawaii? Have I ever done stand-up in Hawaii? The answer is yes, with an asterisk, because I've been there a few times for corporate events, and those times I had been hired as the entertainment, so it was not hosting their corporate event as much as doing a stand-up show for them after dinner. So it was a stand-up show, and I did do it in Hawaii, but it was not open to the public. So I'll have to do that. Awesome doctor and even better benefits. Alan, that's great to hear. I'm glad that you've got a great doctor, and I'm glad that you've got great benefits. And man, so many stories. You know, we were talking to friends in New Zealand about their health care, which is they have government health care, which is very basic, but then you have to buy insurance on top of that to receive what we would call quality health care. But when I say you have to buy insurance on top of that, I'm talking about insurance that's probably 1/10 the cost of American health insurance to get you to 100% of the benefits that people here with good insurance have. So they do have that going for them, but they have fixed it there where it's this hybrid of government health insurance and private insurance. And then they love to complain about how you have to get private insurance. But to us, it's so much cheaper than here. But they kind of undermined their social medicine thing there in a way that then makes it possible for the American politicians to say, oh, you don't want their crapo health care. But in fact, you do want their crapo health care, then with supplemental insurance. But what you really want is an even better version of basic health care than they have. But their system is also flawed. But in my opinion, when you buy the private insurance, I think it's a little better than our system. But it's hard to get a take on it because they're so mad about what's happening over there that they have a hard time with you telling them like that's better than what we've got in America. Because they think ours sounds awesome, especially when they hear all the therapies and treatments that Belinda was able to get with the awesome insurance that we had or have. Something you learned from the book The Body by Bill Bryson, Eric. You blink 14,000 times a day, which means you spend 23 minutes of your waking hours with your eyes closed every day. In my case, even more. because I'm not afraid to take a long blink sometimes, or just shut my eyes and shake my head. That's the thing. That may be age related, where I just every once, 2-3 times a day I have to just go, oh. And then I open back up. I guess that's not. I mean, maybe I'd be lucky to add a minute onto my blinking time with that. So maybe that's not a big deal. With an asterisk is a great multi-purpose qualifier. Yes, Avi, it is. I do like the asterisk. I'm a big fan of with an asterisk, as opposed to what were the other ones you were saying? Even better than in a certain sense or at some level. Yeah, there you go. Health care available for everyone. Michael, you're saying mandatory in Germany and Switzerland. You can only choose to get more care, not less. Well, that's what I'd really like. That's what I'd really like, Michael. I'd really like to be. I don't know. Germany and Switzerland sound great. I fell in love with Norway, but I think I could deal with Germany. Switzerland, also nice. Follow-up query. Is there anything more favorable for you in doing corporate events rather than working at a club or vice versa? Well, the trade-off basically, Andrew, is that the corporate events, the pay is better, but the restrictions are higher. And in comedy clubs and theaters and stand-up venues, generally there's not creative restrictions, but the pay is a bit lower, unless you get to the Bill Burr theater level, and there's plenty of people that are doing theaters that are not quite. Bill Burr is a superstar, but once you're doing theaters, 1,500 seat venues, then the pay starts to even out, and that's why you don't see some of those entertainers don't do as many corporate events. But in their case, you have to really pay them more to do this. So those are the trade-offs: creative freedom versus financial reward. You're balancing those two against each other. Mark Hershon, Don Barnhart is opening a new comedy room in Waikiki next month called, regrettably, the Aloha Ha. A lot of people can't resist the old ha-ha in their comedy club names. As we know, Mark, in San Francisco, the Ha-Ha A Go-Go. Perhaps the worst named comedy club in our time. But I'd be interested in going to Don Barnhart's Aloha Ha in Waikiki. The problem generally with Hawaii is you talk about... you probably don't have any creative restrictions, but you're going to Hawaii, so they really walk the money down to where they try and pitch it to you as a vacation. But it's not a vacation if I can't go and do whatever I want in the nighttime. I mean, it's like I'm past you buying me a plane ticket is a favor that you're doing me. So anyway, I'll have to see if I can find out more about the Aloha Ha. Jen, you're here. There was a lot of talk about you. I hope you're doing all right. I hear things are not super great. No, I didn't hear about you losing your front teeth, being in the hospital, or both. Calamity Jane, God, you've lost your front teeth? I'm assuming you fell down and they got broken, but that's terrible. Charlie, you're living in Monterey. You're now working in media, wondering about a comedy scene here. Why not? Why not? There's no reason why not, Charlie. In fact, I'm sure I'm a hundy that there's a comedy club in Monterey. It may not be, or there's a place with a regular comedy show. I'm 100% sure of that. I don't know how great the comics are going to be, but then again, I don't know that they would even be bad, because you're so close to San Francisco with an amazing comedy scene, and that really the whole Bay Area down into San Jose. There's comics, well practiced comedians down there. So I'd be surprised if there wasn't a comedy scene in Monterey, and if there's not, then you better get into that. Avi, a big plus of the theater shows is that there isn't a lot of credit card collection going on at the point in the performance where you really want to be hitting a high spot. Yeah, Avi, that's true. The check drop at the comedy club when people have been eating and drinking the whole show, and then you're kind of coming to you're finishing dismount spectacular of your comedy show, and then they're dropping the checks so people can pay for their drinks and snacks. It's a little bit of a bummer. On the other hand, the kind of downside of a theater show is that I get why people want to drink a beer or a glass of wine or have a cocktail while they're watching a comedy show. I get it. And so it's tricky. Jen, P.S. Somebody DoorDashed to my hospital stat. Oh my God, this food. I believe it. Oh boy, I believe it. Hallelujah is a franchise with stages all around the globe. Michael, oh, Switzerland weighing in heavy. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Hallelujah is a comedy club with franchises all over the globe. I want to believe that that's true. And if it's not, I'm ready to, I'm ready to, I'm booking myself on a circuit next year, 2020, 2023. I'm just going to work all the hallelujahs around the globe. Plum pit accident on your teeth. Ah, Jen, that sounds terrible. Oh, wish someone would put together a day-long stand-up comedy festival. Palooza. Alan, I'm almost sure that has already happened. But if it hasn't, you're up. Swing away. You're doing good, Jen. Smooth sailing. Well, I'm glad to hear it. I worry about you. You're a good egg. That's meant to be both funny and sincere. Did I see Will Smith's apology video to Chris Rock? Genuine. Andrew, I didn't see that. I saw an early kind of an attempt of him to say he's sorry, but blah blah blah. So I'll have to watch that, Andrew. But I'm kind of tired of listening to Will Smith say things for maybe forever, maybe not, because let's face it, he's done some cool shit. But I'm off him a little bit right now. Sounds like a band name, Plum Pit Accident. It does, Plum Pit Accident. You're fine. You got 3 jobs. Holy cow, Jen. That's awesome. You got 3 jobs and no teeth in the front. Amazing. A lot of people can't pull that off. You're a gamer. You're a real trier. That was interviewing toothless bitches. Yeah, I get it, Jen. You're a god. Rock on with your bad self. Yeah, I get it, Charlie. I need to read this out loud again for you. The Haha Go-Go is to me the worst named comedy club. It was in San Francisco, and that was a rename of a classic, amazing comedy club, the Holy City Zoo. But somebody owned the Holy City Zoo name, and they had to rename it, and they renamed it the Haha Go-Go. Big mistake. I did express that at the time, but I wasn't the person who was making that call. But yeah, they changed the name of the Holy City Zoo, which is a slight weird name, but that was a classic comedy club. That's where I went to San Francisco to go on stage at the Holy City Zoo because that's where Robin Williams started. And then, and I achieved that. But then years later, they changed it to the Haha Go-Go when it changed hands. Anyway, the show's gone a little long today because I'm very happy to be back. And I'm happy to see you all and talk to you all. And happy Friday. It's time for Seize the Day. Seize the Day. I'm about to seize the day. I've already seized it, in fact. And it's so good to be back, seizing the day with all of you. I'll see you all on Tuesday next. And we'll continue Tuesdays and Fridays as we have been, with the idea that maybe some other things in the future may happen. Love to you, Jen. You just got the morphine chaser. Sweet to see you. Take care of yourself. Hang in there. Hallelujah, Michael. Thank you for that. Here we go. Today's Seize the Day is from Rumi, famous mellow yellow poet. Wear gratitude like a cloak, and it will feed every corner of your life. That's nice. I'm going to have to try and wear gratitude like a coat. But also, if it's cold outside, wear a coat also. Wear gratitude as a coat, and then also wear a coat. That's my advice, just to cover all the bases. All right. here we go. What do we got? It's the end. So now I say the things that I say at the end. Oh, I still have a little bit of my happy hour left. Delicious, therapeutic, and happy. Happy Friday, everybody. So good to be back. So good to see all of you. Take care of yourselves as always. I'm so glad to be back amongst you. Take care of each other. Be nice to a jerk. That's still vital more than ever. As I was overseas, there's a lot of jerks who aren't even in America right now. So try and be nice to a jerk. And whatever you do like I did. Don't give up. There will be plenty of time to give up later. Fact. 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 I love you. See you Tuesday.